If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. We're back. We're back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. It's the top of the hour. And you know what? As we always promise you, great conversation, the beginning of our time together on Friday mornings with the Son of Man and the Nation of Islam. And we were discussing black privilege. And that's the beauty of conversation. As we it shows us that you can interpret things. So if there is a literal meaning of certain words based on how you process it, then there's an outcome. Based on how things are presented to you, we think differently because we are individuals, and so we have a different perspective. But there's a beauty when you're able to get together and share that perspective and come to a solution. And the solution could be that you don't agree, and that's fine. But at least we're in a space where we can talk about it and we can have the honest dialogue. And at the end of the day, I believe in whatever it is that we share, and you all are kind enough to call in to share and to talk about, it is for the betterment of us. The ultimate desire is for us to be better. I believe that. I know it's all about the sincerity of the intent. Words, words, words. We're going to get our words. Our intention is to make sure that we are better. Our intention is to make sure that we have information and create solutions. And whether you prescribe to that or not a problem. But we cannot say at our time together on this station that we're not presenting opportunities and options to you. And in the midst of everything that's happening in our community right now, you all can honestly say that we either don't have them, we don't prescribe to those who present them to us. If we have a different approach, then we have to show how we're doing what we're doing. And I know that you all are doing it. I know that we have the vote is your voice campaign, your voice is your vote campaign. I know that we have that. I know I can go on and on. We have the Sister Shoe in the Avalon Village. We have the Oakland Avenue Urban Farm. We have Jazzy Cats. I can go on and on about organizations and active programs that are going to benefit us. The goal, my brother's keeper, my sister's keeper. We have programs that are been presented to us that says, guess what? It's real right now. We're doing it. It's not a conversation. And so we should embrace that. And then if indeed you have some solutions that you want to present, call in. This is Solution Friday. A lot of things are happening. All the lines are lit. I'm definitely going to get all of you in this hour. That is what it's about. And so we can extend the conversation. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I want us to have a solution in the conversation. Okay? Is that possible? If you want to assess the national politics and where we are, is there a solution for that? Are you just shocked? I mean, I just have to put this in here. Are you just shocked that the government has has proceeded the way that it has under the new presidency? Are you just at a loss for words? Or does that show you who America is and the privilege in America? As we talked about the standoffs with Bundy and rights and that the police didn't go in. And remember, it was a long standoff, like 30 days or something at the ranch, that they were just not going to leave that space. That was their space. They believed it was their right. And so no one killed them. No one gassed them out. No one threatened them. Like we just oppose that to the Dakota pipeline and what happens. I mean, but we don't have a conversation, or we can just bring it back on down to us right here in Michigan, that Flint still is without drinking water. And no one's talking about that now because I guess we're now so excited about this new election potentially coming up and who's going to run for governor and who's going to run for mayor and who's going to run for city council. And so we're now wrapped back up into that. But the ills of society are still here. They didn't go anywhere. They weren't fixed. They're not managed. They're still those of us who are suffering. But I guess that's just okay. Maybe it's not the privilege of us to believe that, yeah, that's happening to them and that's where they are. And as long as it's not happening to me, it's okay. So we give a blind eye to it. I'm asking. That's my statement for this Friday morning. But I'm gonna go to the line because I'm gonna give a quote. And then I'm gonna go to the line, okay? Let me just give us a quote because I want to open up with this. And this is from Dr. Martin Luther King, okay? This will be the day when we shall bring into full realization the dream of American democracy, a dream yet unfulfilled. A dream of equality of opportunity, of privilege and property widely distributed. A dream of a land where men will not take necessities from the many to give luxuries to the few. A land where men will not take the necessities from the many to give luxuries to the few. So maybe that's the space that we're in, just from a international standpoint. Necessities from the many, the things that we bare essentials for life, water, food, shelter. Those of us that are struggling right now in these Americas that don't have adequate water, food, shelter, substance, engagement, communication. And we take those things away for the luxuries of a few. But maybe we're just okay that that is who America has been. And we've always played that role into helping build greatness for others. And so maybe we're just okay with that. Maybe we're at the point of, like I said, we just understand our role in America. And so we figure as long as we can just understand our role, do our part, get along to get along. As DJ 8 Mile said yesterday, well, you know, you can't have black privilege without white privilege. I know you all thought about that because I thought about it. So then we have to say, okay, well, wow. Does that mean then that as long as they allow us, because as we want to have a conversation, I will give you what the dictionary defines as privilege, a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group of people. So indeed, it has to be bestowed upon us. So if we were always the underbelly, the working class, those who have always made America run, but we were given the luxury of rising up to be somebody, as they say. So if it was just given to us, then that's what it is. So the necessities of many for the luxuries of a few. And maybe that's where we are today. We are just so happy that those of you, quote unquote, that are our leaders are doing well. We're so happy that our pastors and ministers are doing well. We don't look to see, does that filter back into the congregants? We're so happy that our elected officials are doing well. We don't look to see if that trickles back into the constituents that voted for them in the communities in which they're supposed to serve. We're so happy for the grandness and the greatness of everyone else, and never do we look back and say, because of this, am I doing better? That's what it's supposed to be. We are not supposed to use the necessities of the many for the luxuries of the few. But that is who America is. And so as we talked about before, we talk about the system. We talk about understanding the society. We talk about the injustice and how do we make that work for us. And maybe it goes back to the issue that we don't know how to make it work for us because no one's told us. Maybe again, we are so used to being told what to do. I shared with you all yesterday, doing my urban farm experience, and I had the hoe in my hand and the sun was beating down, and I literally felt like I was morphed back into a time of our ancestors, either in the sharecrop experience or even actually in the slave experience of what was going through their minds at that time. Or was it just understood that this is where I'm supposed to be because that's where I was told? And then we had the Bible that was given to us that was told that we're supposed to obey our masters and this is what it is. And then we're going to get a glorious reward when we die and leave this earth. And so then when it was time for us to move, those of us who were the leaders to say Harriet Tubman and the like, Nat Turners of the like, and say, guess what? We're out of here. Come on, let's go. We didn't realize we didn't want to go. That we thought this was it. But we've talked about on this show that maybe just the atrocity of all of it is that we weren't enslaved physically, we were mentally enslaved. You recall the pictures, and those of you who grew up in the South and you were clear about what the plantations look like, and there were no big fences, there was no barbed wire. The slaves, we lived in a separate area by ourselves, away from the big house. There wasn't any cameras, any remote controls, any drones watching over us. It was open field, open land. At any time, you could just get on out, figure it out. But that's not what we did. And so maybe again today, it brings us back to say that if that is where we are, still the mental capacity to say, I can't, it's not for me. We aren't supposed to work together. We can't create a better for us. Is that where we are on this Solutions Friday? Because we are in dire times. I believe that in every time it is dire. When we can't collectively have a conversation and makes it better for us, the fruits of our conversations then turn into the labor that then shows an impact in our communities. It can't be okay. I tell all of you, if you're struggling, I'm struggling. Hello? If it impacts you, it impacts me. No one stops and asks, oh, what's your pedigree? Oh, where'd you go to school? How'd you grow up? Where'd you do? No one, everyone looks at you from the color of your skin. Period. How's that? And then you get into certain circles and then you have to say certain things and then we use that to validate us because we were taught that's what we have to do in order to be validated and not to be perceived like we're one of everybody else. But that was only to justify them, for us to feel that we are okay for them. Wow. Are you thinking through this conversation? Are you just thinking through? All I want us to do is just think through where we are right now and why we do what we do. And then in the midst of all of that, then, and understanding that, what's next for us? What's next? There's a lot that's online right now. What is next for us? Are we mobilizing locally for these elections coming up? Are we so caught up in the person as the candidate and not have created our own platforms that then make the candidate that we want to support accountable? Has the candidate come to you with a plan and said, this is from my assessment of where we are in this community and what I believe we need based on my understanding of this district. This is what I'm proposing we work on based on the construct and confinements of what that law, the charter, allows me to do in this position. Don't let folks running for city council tell you they can change insurance rates because they can't. They don't have an impact on education. We have to be educated to know what those roles do and what they can't do. I'm asking, is that our privilege then? To be able to read and study and then make someone show us approved for my vote. It's a privilege. You don't take it for granted. But maybe because we do, that's why we keep getting what we get. And then we wonder why we get what we get, but we keep doing what we do. Oh, I don't know. Let's go to the line. Maybe you have a different perspective. Great morning to you.
Is that me, sister?
I'm sorry?
Is that me?
Is that you? It's you. You're
okay. On. Okay, I wanted to say my comments on the back of what you just mentioned about when you was doing your urban farm.
Mm-hmm.
I came down to the South several years ago to manage my grandparents' land. They had passed away, and there was nobody to manage it but my mother.
Okay.
So she asked me and my wife and other relatives to come and help to take care of this several acres of land down here.
Okay.
When I planted a garden, it was quite a large garden. We decided to use part of the acreage to plant a garden. I had the exact opposite experience as you. For the first time, I experienced what it felt like to be free. Because I knew what it felt like to feed myself by planting corn, planting cucumbers, planting beans, and harvesting those beans, cultivating it and harvesting it. For the first time, I got a real taste of what it felt like to be free from that experience.
Wow.
And also from that experience, my middle son, we discovered that he's a natural farmer, a natural chemist. Okay. So what are we doing? We're grooming his education based on his skill set and his tendency towards farming and agriculture and chemistry.
Yes.
I think that the next evolutionary step that we as black people are going to take is going to be a spiritual one. I think that, contrary to what you said, we're gonna have to knuckle.
Okay.
When I say knuckle, I'm saying we're gonna have to debate. We're gonna have to argue. We're gonna have to be confrontational, because what we have right now is a hodgepodge of personalities who come to the table and suggest that their personality is the way.
Well, you know what? Stay right there. Stay right there. On that point, can we just stay right there? But see, I think that's where addressing it changes the conversation, because it's not about personality. If we just look and deal with what is said, not who says it and how they say it. And haven't we been having these confrontations for years? Isn't that why let me ask you.
Not.
Well, let me ask you. But why is it then that we have a church on every corner? Because someone else decided that what we thought we were going to collectively do, we don't agree, so now I'm going to branch off. So then we have this one organization, and then we branch off. So we've been having confrontations from years, and instead of working it out, we go create something different.
The multiple churches are simply a splitting off of one branch of the institutions that affect our minds. That's one branch in it, the church and the mosque and all that. That's just one branch, the spiritual branch.
Sure.
When I say that we need a confrontation, I'm talking about a confrontation about what is the authority, which line of thinking will represents the authority that will get us all to where we want to go. I say that when it comes down to the authority question, the question is now, is the Bible and Quran the authority, or is science and the mind the authority? Which is the authority? Once we answer the authority question, then we're going to get some direction for real. So each one got to bring their who they think is the authority to the table on equal footing, and let the authority speak. And then the people will have clear eyes and be able to see clearly, and we can get some direction. But right now, as long as I can convince you that the authority is within the pages of any book, which I can pick up and take and change and do what I want to do with any book. You can't do that with the laws of this universe that transcend not only the physical world, but the spiritual world and the mental world. And everybody has equal access to them. This is what I'm saying is the authority. No man is the authority over another man. No man. You better understand this, because if you put one man over you as the authority over you, and he got some special revelation that you don't have access to equally, you better get it. Then you're going to understand why you slaves. See, because they keep knowledge from you. They keep knowledge from you. If you don't understand the concept of planting and growing and feeding yourself, you will never recognize your freedom and power, because you will always look to another to give you what you need to sustain yourself.
Absolutely. I think we're in agreement to that. I want to make a correction from our previous conversation that I believe that the branching off is from a religious perspective and doctrine. I don't believe that that's a spiritual branch off. I believe that's a religious
I would agree
doctrine.
With you there.
So
it's a religious. See, and this religion that we have, all of them, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, the big three, they all come from the Abrahamic tradition, as we have it, as they are outlined in these books.
Okay.
So now, we were before that. we understand, and I didn't say understood. Notice I didn't say understood. We understand in present tense. We understand the principles that govern this universe and govern every single aspect of our living. And this is so important, Tristan.
Sure.
Each man and woman has equal access to all of it. Yeah. No man has a special key, a special door, a special phone line that he can tap into it or she can tap into it that you don't have at this present moment. When we get that understanding, that's when we're going to come together naturally. That's when your the true leaders going to rise to the occasion, and they're going to be in harmony with your mind. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to fight the people. You don't have to call the people names. You don't have to threaten them that you're going to do this or do that if they don't do this or do that. None of that. All that goes out the window. And the trueness of the people are going to rise. This is where I'm coming from. And this is what has to be said.
And so let me ask you this. And guess what? And I don't have a problem with that. And so my position is, why can it be that if we're talking about the Son of Man and who he believes he is and how he believes we can progress, then we can support and honor that. Your position of how you believe that we need to look at ourselves and the spiritual connections that we have, and then there's a group that can agree with that, and we can progress. I guess my question is, in the midst of all of that, we can have different ways to get there, but when is there a respect for the different ways that we believe to get there, and we can still get there? We can still have momentum.
That's good when you're talking about your own personal life and your family and all that. But see, it's not about who I am or who he is. See, when it boils down to that, that's the reason you got all these churches, because it's about who I am. I'm Bishop this, I'm Reverend so-and-so, and I don't agree with you because the Bible says this, and he got a Bible and he quoting what he believes the Bible says. So you can't base it on something that is restricted within the pages of a book, because everybody can have their own interpretation of a book, and no one has to conform themselves to what is in the book.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to science.
Okay, so guess what? And I get that. So then what? So if we all say stay right there for a minute. If we all say that, yes, we agree with you, that it's about science, then what? So if everybody right now agrees with you, then what?
I'm not saying it's about science. I'm saying the people need a revolution in their thinking, and this revolution is a scientific revolution. All the hard work goes out the window when you have something that transcends mind. This is what I'm trying. I'm having a difficult time articulating it because it's a difficult concept to like, take, for example, a group of ants. I was pondering a hill of ants on this farm, and I began to ask myself, what is controlling these ants to act in such harmony? Is it each ant has its own mind, or is there one mind that's governing all the ants' behavior? And each little ant is tapped into that one mind and able to work together so efficiently. I'm suggesting from that. See, when you study science, you learn how to think and apply it to your own living and your situation. So I'm asking myself, okay, what is controlling the ants? Is it each individual ant has made up its mind that this is in our best interest, or have all the ants tapped into this one mind and acting in harmony? Study nature. You're going to find out how to live, and this is going to be easy for us if we just transcend all this other stuff. And I think debate, confrontation, presentation of who the authority is going to be the way. And the brother was right. Yes, he did. I was very thrown back about my degrees, and I had an accomplishments that I had made. Okay. Because me and my wife graduated from college in 2003. We could have gone into corporate America. I could have made as much money as I wanted. I could have gone and worked for NASA if I wanted, or Texas Instruments, or all these companies. But I came home to Detroit, Michigan, bought me a home in the hood, sent my kids to Detroit public school. Well, my oldest boy was just in second grade at the time, and the other two were just little toddlers. But I rolled up our sleeves and began to work, and these people went up and down on the side of our head till we just was literally forced out.
Okay.
Because our knowledge in science and different ways of getting the same thing done that they were trying to get done was rejected because they perceived it as coming from a white man, while at the same time upholding the white man's very system.
Okay.
So when I don't have to brag about what I've done in the city of Detroit since I left. See, we ain't going to talk about what I did before I left. since I left, I got a long record. I'm saying that I have discovered through trial and error, taking records, making sure I keep count of what works and what does not work.
Mm-hmm.
I have come to the conclusion that a spiritual revolution is necessary. And this spiritual revolution is going to be bring to the table the question of who is the authority. Once the authority question is answered, black people are going to be free that moment.
Yeah. Great point. Now, see, I didn't know this was Dr. Fleming. I wish you would have called in when I had Son of Man, because he was actually looking for you. And I like to end this conversation with what I wanted to correct. I believe it's a spiritual authority. It's a spiritual authority. So when we honor God in spirit, I believe that's when we make a difference. And for me, I don't believe I am not anyone to say what you say you believe is right, who you say you are is right. I can have an opinion, but that is what you believe. All I'm saying is, however we choose, if we all say that we are here for the betterment of the people, the betterment of the community, in our intellect, we should be able to figure out collectively how we can all agree that this is what is best for us and how do we get there. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
if we're so smart and we're so educated and we're all these things that we say that we are in this human flesh, then it has to be more than the confrontation, because at the end of the day, we make the assumption that just because we're confrontational, we're going to agree. That's not
right.
That's not what it is.
And I'm not saying. I think I'm being misunderstood. I'm not.
Well, no, I'm just going by what you said.
For the sake of I'm not saying confrontation for the sake of confrontation. I'm saying the part where the confrontation is necessary is upon us. That because we got to sort out the men from the boys, the girls from the women, the courageous from the cowards. It's going to be a sorting out process so that you can move forward. Birth itself is a confrontation. The sperm has to find this egg, and this sperm. Yeah, I keep speaking in masculine terms.
Sure.
Has to fight his way to this egg.
Sure.
To get this process going on. And then the child has to develop and fight off all kind of things.
Yes.
And then force his way into the world.
Sure. I get that, but stay right there. You then are making the assumption that we are advanced enough that in understanding the true essence of confrontation, we will come out on the end with an agreement. That is not.
We're either going to be rendered extinct, or we're going to evolve into what it takes to survive under the circumstances that we are under. Those are the two choices.
Well, then we're going
to render extinct or evolve.
Okay, well, I love that. Appreciate your conversation always, Dr. Fleming. Definitely, if you get a chance, call in tonight with Son of Man, because he's looking for you. Thanks so much for your call. So everyone, that he put it out there. So Dr. Fleming suggests that either we become extinct or we evolve into who we're supposed to be. So maybe you all might say, well, guess what, Collette? I'm already who I'm supposed to be. And I'm just trying to work at it piece by piece. And maybe all the rhetoric that we give and all the platforms that we create really doesn't have an impact on us. We're just doing it, and they're just doing it because everyone then has ego, and they want ego to lead. Everyone wants to say that their way is the best way. And at the end of the day, the people are suffering. What do you say? Thanks for your patience. Good morning to you.
How you doing today?
Great. 8 Mile, how are you?
All right. First, I'd like to give a shout out to TV 33.
Sure.
Comcast 91, Channel 91. R.J. Watkins.
Yes.
The other TV show host.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Collette, for allowing these gentlemen to verbalize on your TV show.
Sure.
I'll say it again. Thank you so much, Miss Collette, for allowing these gentlemen to verbalize on your TV show.
Thank you.
Now, tools of success that I live by every day is totally relative to your TV show today.
Okay.
It's not about me fooling you. It's not about you fooling me. It's about me not fooling myself.
Nice.
That's one.
Nice.
And second, only a fool argue with a fool, so I talk to you later. Mm-hmm. Do you know, ever since I've seen Son of Man, who I know
was financially supporting TV 33,
Yeah.
who I know was financially supporting J.D. Hill.
Right.
J.D. Hill was financially supporting that TV show.
Yes.
Them two gentlemen was doing that for years.
Yes.
But these people that go on this TV show, they want to argue with them, they're not making sure that that TV show, that TV station stayed alive. Financially, through support, through people, members of events. So I don't understand why the people who make sure that TV show, who have made that TV show stay in existence, rest in peace, J.D. Hill.
Yes.
I don't understand people like that always go on these airways and want to argue about nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
Okay. Well, yeah, you do. Stay right there. Yeah, you do. And I'm just putting it out there because I believe that everyone wants a platform. And like you said, instead of maybe, I appreciate the conversation because I just believe that there's more than one way to have a conversation. So I just didn't want to talk. I mean, there were several people who told me, Collette, you don't take calls. You don't have time to take calls because everybody wants to create their show into your show and this, that, and the other. Let them come and pay and have a show. And so my thing is, well, hey, if I have the opportunity to be here, I want opinions, and that's what I want, and I want us all to grow and become better for it. But maybe to your point is that everybody wants a platform because everyone is looking for different ways to be heard, and then everyone wants to be the head person to lead somebody. But at the end of the day, doesn't it boil down just to your point of what we're actively doing?
See, I know your purpose. That's why you have a TV show called Coffee and Conversation. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be your conversation.
Right.
It doesn't
It has to be my conversation. Right.
But the point I'm saying is that right now, when it comes down to the major religions, that the predominant people in this country, not the other 249 countries that exist on this planet, I'm talking about this country. Most of those religions were man-made between 1400 and 1880.
I believe it.
Jehovah's Witness was created by a man. Methodist was created by a man. Lutheran was created by a man. Church of God was created by a man. Okay? So, if a person wants to acknowledge a deity, a greater spirit, that's okay. But when you're reciting words that are man-made and applying that to your life, then you're making that your image of him. Remember that, please.
Yeah. So maybe, you know what? You always giving us something as a takeaway. So maybe that's, again, so maybe here we go again, everybody. So maybe we're back to square one again. Because if it is birthed out of us wanting a platform, how to identify quote unquote power, influence, to create money, then if that's what it is, that's what it is. Call it for exactly what it is. But then don't turn around and say, oh, we should be better because of A, B, and C. As we're just talking about organized religion, church. I had a conversation with one of a prominent minister, and we were talking, and I said, well, they asked me, well, why aren't you part of this fellowship? And I said, that's not what I believe. I don't believe what you're doing, the monies that you are collecting are benefiting the community. And so I gave some examples. Well, why wouldn't you then buy up the lots around the church? Why wouldn't you buy up the vacant houses around the church? Why wouldn't you make a food pantry? Why wouldn't you do a shelter, a clothing component? And I was told, well, Collette, that's not my ministry. That's not what I was called to do. And I said, okay. I said, well, what can I say? So if you ask me why I'm not tithing into your entity, because for me, what I believe, I want to see you do different things with this money that you're taking. And it goes for anybody. It goes for the storefront church, to the big old church, the mega churches. We got it.
Okay.
We got all of that. Sure.
I got to say this right now. I got my book Tool of Success wide open, and what you just said 4 things that quick that's on this page.
Okay.
I'm going to say it real slow. So when I say it's 9 things, you just said 4 of them that quick.
Okay.
The last one you just said is money and religion don't mix. You just said that, and I'm looking at that's on one of the pages. Money and religion don't mix. Another one is Christians must live Christ-like.
Christ-like.
Christ wasn't about no business. He was just about being himself. Real simple. Another one, human beings are real temples of faith. So, you know how you have all these different temples and different churches in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
That's just a different personality.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, and stay right there. Wait, stay right there, Abel. Stay right there. Stay right there. Because I want us to be very clear. Because I don't want anyone, because you all will call me offline and say, Collette, you're bashing the pastors. No, I'm not. We're not bashing pastors. We're asking leadership to do more. There's an accountability that you have to have if you want to be a leader. And especially if people are following you. There is an accountability that you have. And so you should want to make it better for them. You have the masses, people that are coming in and opening themselves up to what it is that you say you are speaking into their lives. And so you should make it better for them. So maybe I'm giving you a charge. Maybe I'm asking you to think out of what you presented as your mission to grow the building fund and to grow the capital improvement initiative and all of these things that you say benefit your ministry. But the people who are coming are dying. Our communities are dying. But as soon as someone literally dies, then we'll be out there to eulogize them. And we'll have a big platform and a big show and song and dance, but there wasn't anything else to sow into their lives. I said to you all before, why isn't all of these churches, if everyone committed to going and saying, guess what, $1,000, everyone, we're raising money because we're going to employ 10 young people from our church for the summer. So every $1,000 that we raise, we're going to give them a stipend, and they're going to have employment. So if you had,
I can answer that question for you.
So wait a minute. So if I got you. I want to get there. But if we had 50 churches that agreed to that, but we'll sit and talk about how kids don't have summer jobs, they don't have any place to go, they'll get mad because they're cutting the food for the kids and they don't have the free lunch program. So why wouldn't every church do that? Why wouldn't you open your doors and use that money to keep young people off the street? To give them, learn a trade, and so they can make a difference and they can be around people who will help foster them. But then when the folks in the street do that, then you're mad at them. And you talk about the outcomes for them, but they know better. If I can provide you with some money so you can get some food, so you can get your shelter, you'll follow me because I'm taking care of you. So, I mean, I'm just asking, are we not even looking at it that way? Or
I can answer that.
Answer it.
You know, here in the city of Detroit, we have SMART and we have DVOT, right?
Yes.
Both of them service the same area.
Yes.
Both of them service
well, now we got that train thing too, the trolley.
Okay, but see, the thing is this. This was during Democratic administration.
Okay.
The Department of Transportation came to the state of Michigan, came to the southeastern Michigan, and said, you know what, we paying two different entities. SMART was for the suburbs, DDOT was for the city. Yes. We paying y'all to service the same streets.
Yes.
So either y'all need to come together, or we are going to limit who we fund.
Yes.
So this is when it was still SMART and still DDOT. They was going to try to come together. But you know what kept it apart?
What?
The managers and the supervisors did not want to lose their job to tell people what to do.
Sure.
So that's why it stayed separated. So why do you got 13,000 churches in the city of Detroit? This leader of this church is not going to give up his money, not going to give up his prestige, not going to give up his flock for the next one. That's how come you got 1,300 churches in the city of Detroit, and our city look the way it do.
Thank you. Great point, Emma. I couldn't have said it any better. Let me go to the next line. Everyone, have a great one. Everyone, that's what it's about. We just want to have a conversation to get us thinking, to have the real conversation, to say this is why we do what we do. And guess what? Again, I'm not knocking you, but as the Son of Man said before, if that is your platform, be able to defend it and say how you believe it makes a community better. No matter what position you're in. People say, okay, you're beating up on the church. Well, I'm not trying to beat up on the church. That's just an example. whatever it is, if you have a nonprofit organization, if you have a for-profit organization, at the end of the day, can you justify why you do what you do if the goal is to be of betterment? That people are supposed to be better. Lives are supposed to be better. Let me just see what you think. Thanks for your call. Great morning to you.
You know what, Collette?
Hey.
That's a profound statement. What are you doing to make things better?
Yeah.
And that's why a long time ago I could have had a church if I wanted.
You know what? I believe that. I believe that.
I could have had some of the same platform them bishops enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized something. We were built ever since religion came into play.
Sure.
We stopped building and began to wonder how to build.
Ah.
If you get where I'm going.
Yes.
See, that's why I tell people, you don't have to join nothing that I do or anybody else do.
Right.
If I could just get you to thinking on your own.
Yeah.
That's where your freedom lies at.
Yes.
And see, we all would never, ever agree. You can get all the conscious thinkers in the world together, and we'll still all ain't going to agree.
Right.
I was talking to one brother, he was like, well, we're the original man. We came from Africa. I said, so did bananas and monkeys. I mean, what's so significant about being the original and the first if you're not performing like the original and the first?
Great point. And stay right there, and you don't believe that. Stay there. You always 6 you always giving me something, giving us something. If you don't believe it,
think you can do it. It made you stop believing you can do it, and now you thinking you can do it.
Thank you.
No, you've been doing it. We've been building nations.
Yes.
We are a nation
builder. Yes.
Without Islam.
Yes.
Without Christianity.
Yes.
Without Judaism.
Yes.
Without Buddhism.
Yes.
We were all of that before these mechanisms came into our lives.
Yes.
Christianity, the handmaid of Catholic imperialism.
Yes.
Islam, handmaiden of Arab imperialism. The Arabs ain't have no illusions about it. The European ain't have no illusions about Christianity. Yeah. We the ones with the illusion.
Yeah.
I'm like Dr. Clark. I don't have a love affair with none of them. I have a love affair with reality.
Okay.
And the reality is that my brothers and sisters have something great inside of them that when manifested in the physical, wonderful things happen.
Yes.
Now, we may not agree on everything, but we all do agree on core humanistic moral principles.
We should.
And that's right. And those and like the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are not Ten Commandments. Those are that came out of the school of Luxor. Those are omissions. And here's how I go, Collette. It's not thou shalt not steal. It's I have not stole. I will not steal. Thou shalt not have another man's wife. No, you ain't got to tell me what I ain't got to do. It's already in me. King, thou have not coveted another man's wife. Thou have not murdered. You see, you don't have to tell me because you're talking to somebody that is already in. And before you came up with this, we were already practicing this.
Yeah.
Then you come with your form of religion, colonizing what we were already doing and confused us.
Yeah,
and we've been confused ever since, going in the circle. So we go through Christianity for an answer. Some go through Islam for an answer.
Right.
Some say ain't no Christianity or Islam.
Right.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you what is real and what does exist. You.
Right.
You are the manifestation you've been looking for.
See. And let me add, for me, it is God in me. So let me just say that. So for those of us who believe in that, then okay, fine. And I really, maybe that's what we're going to do maybe that's next week's show. Yes, if we remove all of the doctrines out of the way, so just move them all out the way, and it is just us, then what? Move them all out the way, because to Dr. Fleming's point, if it's just about confrontation and all of that, and then we have the conversation, and then what? So then what do we do? But if we moved all that to the side, and we're just here in our human, imperfect self, for me, honoring spirit, and looking for a purpose, then what do we do?
And we change our way of thinking, most importantly. See, I like what the one caller said that, they didn't have barbed wire on some of those plantations down
Yeah,
there.
I said that. I said that.
Oh, you said
Yeah,
right,
I said
right.
that. Yeah,
And
remember we didn't.
Collette,
Yeah, it wasn't brick walled in and barbed wire.
right, right,
No, that's
exactly.
not what it was.
So that tells you how strong a mind game could be played by weak individuals.
Yeah.
And weak individuals were the ones who was bold enough not to put up a barbed wire. This is how confident they were in you not getting it.
Yeah.
We don't have to put up a fence.
Right. Right.
If you tell the people, and here's what happened to us, if you tell the people that they're not equal to you,
Yes.
and God said obey your masters,
Yes.
you, in trying to please your God, will accept that subservient role
Yes.
and live it out under the guise that I'm pleasing God. Even though you know that there's something really ain't right about this, but if this is God's will, then God will cover me, allowing this to happen to me. And God all alone is saying, no, that ain't me. And see, I'm good to tell people that no, God ain't tell you to do that. God ain't say that, no, because that ain't God is a smart God.
Yeah.
So I when you're doing silly stuff, I can't say that God put you up to that. No, that's you.
That's you, right? That's free will, right? That's you. That's you.
Exactly. So once you get that one dynamic down, then you can go to Christianity and you make it a better Christianity. You make it a liberation Christianity, because right now it's not doing nothing for nobody anyway. You then, once you get all of these together, then you go to Islam and you make it a liberation Islam.
And wait,
I'm not saying
wait, and stay right there, because you done said it yet again. So stay right there. Did you get what he just said, everybody? And just follow me for a second. If we are in church every Sunday, if you will, if you are in synagogue every Sunday, Saturday, whatever it looks like, every time the doors of the church open, you're there. And you're working on your connection with God, and you work to believe everything that you've been presented to and to be a better person, then wouldn't that manifest itself out in the world? I'm just asking. Did y'all just think about that? Like, if everything that we say we believe, why wouldn't it be better for us? Wouldn't all of our actions dictate creating an environment that's better for us? Wouldn't we support each other? Wouldn't we know how to respect each other? Wouldn't we know how to love each other? Wouldn't we know how to agree to disagree with each other? Wouldn't it be different than what we are being presented with right now? Oh, man.
Well, it's something to think about.
It is
and
definitely
it's not,
something.
And it's not platform invading.
No.
Because
no.
what I'm doing is I like to tell people directly what you could do instantly.
Yeah.
That will help. And I'm sorry that it don't come with a new car and a new house, but it may be, depending on your new way of thinking. And there's nothing wrong with thinking outside of the box.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, because that's what we are made of.
Yeah.
So go beyond the slave fields and go back to Akhenaten and all of your different ancestors who were gods. Yeah. That is still in you today. That's why Dr. Van Sertima said we're not just 1 year old or 28 or 48. Mm-hmm. We are old as we remember. And if you remember how great you are,
yes, and stay right there.
Your liberty.
And maybe there we go. That can conclude this right here. If you remember how great you are. So in us, I don't know if y'all remember, when that whole The Grinch That Stole Christmas, and when at the end when he had a heart and the heart just grew and it lit up, and then he just had the aha. It's like the seed that's in us. It's like an awakening that we have to realize and be open to understanding who we are. Not just from this space and time that went back 500 years. It went back another 500 years. It went back 2,000 years. The greatness of the universe in us. because it would manifest itself. If we weren't great, America wouldn't be here. I said it before. America is great because of us. But we don't even have a mindset that allows us to grasp that. Because again, we don't think, everybody. 6-4, I appreciate your call. And everybody else that called, man, let me see if I can just get one more call in. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you. Are you there? Are you there? Good morning. Okay, let me see if I can get you in. Good morning.
Good morning, Queen.
Good morning, King.
Queen, you know, you said it at the end.
Okay.
You know, within each and every one of us, understand there is a God cell that exists in each and every one of us.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we are at a point in time, understand, that we're you know, in a way we're critical of one another.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is not that. The issue is within our own selves, that the war is within our own self, and not to be critical of others and what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we'll sit back saying, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And but the masses really don't see it, or it doesn't affect the masses or whatever. And so, you know, we have to start within our own selves and stop being so critical of others and what they're doing. You know, and if we all go about the business that we should be going about, understand, we wouldn't have time to be critical of others. And that's the problem with us as black people, really.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and when you think about it, understand, in the beginning of life, there's one cell.
Sure.
And that one cell, that first cell is the cell of God.
Yeah.
And that God cell calls in everything that it needs.
Yeah.
Understand, in the womb of a woman, understand, the eyes, the head, the brain,
sure,
the spine, the legs, the heart, it calls in everything. That one cell.
Yeah, yeah.
And it turns into billions of cells.
Yeah.
And they all operate in unity.
Yes.
Because if they don't, they won't survive.
So you know what? And stay right there, King, because I think that's a perfect way to end the show today. I appreciate your phone call.
I love you. Have a blessed day.
I love you too. That's what it's about. At the end of the day, we have to understand that we're in this together. We can get caught up in a doctrine and a philosophy and what we believe and ego and point of view and platform and all these things. And once you remove them all out of the way, I want you to ask yourself, does it make it better for the rest of us? Because we are in this together. It is no separation. We've talked about this week after week about you might not want to look at our homeless brothers and sisters, but that is us. You might not then identify with those of us who are in leadership roles, but that is us. Whatever walk of life that you see us in, that is us. It is indicative of the society in which we live in. And so that if it is not better for us, then we have to look at ourselves. It goes back to the topic of the conversation that we've had this week. If it is about privilege, what have we done with it? If it is about those giving us the privilege, then what have we done with it? If we are in a space that it is what it is and we're okay with that, then we should be okay with that. But just understand that we are what we produce, one way or another. So my charge for you this week is, and the calls are lit. No, we're going to continue this next week. We're going to wrap it all around, but I want you to keep thinking about it. I want you to realize, what do you do with the privilege that you have? And how does it make a difference for all of us? It's been an amazing 2 hours with you. So appreciate the time, the opportunity. Richard Harrison, thank you so much. TV33, thank you all for being a part of the conversation. Have an amazing rest of the day and the weekend. Until next week, I'll see you next time.